Hello everyone, Jenn DuBell here for Jenn DuBell Designs, and today I am going to present my project for Graphic45 as a brand ambassador this month. This is a hashtag G45 leveled up project, and what that is they assign us to choose a past project done for a G45 album kit or a G45 card kit. And I chose Carla La Vera's Mon Amour Quad Folio Interactive Album. This was the G45 album kit 2022 volume 12. And I will be doing mine, or have done mine, with the Enchanted Forest. Now, just so you know, the only part of this collection that I have is the 12 by 12 paper. So what I have left besides some scraps is these two sheets. So you could do quite an extensive album with just that. I did not have ephemera or stickers or any of those items, so I just went with what I had. I have done some different things in mine. I've changed the sizing a bit on some of the elements, added some elements, added some magnetic closures, and done things just a little bit differently. And I just want to walk through. I do have written changes in my blog post that you'll see where I tell you how I did certain things. But as far as what I've done differently and the finished product, here it is. So, like I said, originally the G45 album kit was from Mon Amour. I've used Enchanted Forest, and what I did here, so my cover, I did everything exactly the same as the original as far as my book itself. So the main portion of my book being the chipboard pieces were done the same way, just with different papers. It is 5x9, just like the original. And I've done some similar things as well in the inside. So on my outside, I did add some of the gold washi tape from Graphic45 on this side as well as on the back. And I've used a combination of two papers, but I flipped one of them so that my spine was the B side. So I've used Medieval Splendor and Sumptuous Floral for mine. Now I also took a strip of chipboard that is, let me grab a ruler and I can at least tell you. So my cover, the chipboard here is 2.5 by 9, and then I covered that in this paper here, and then I cut a 4.25 by 4.25 piece of the black chipboard, put some paper on that, and then from this sheet, again, not having any fussy cuts, or excuse me, ephemera or anything like that, I did utilize a lot of this sheet for fussy cutting. I've used this image here, the dragon image here, as well as the borders and these little round circles. I didn't end up using the circles, but I did punch them out just to save them for a future card with the scraps if I do that, which I may do because it's just beautiful paper. So that is what I have left. That and a strip of Exquisite Epoch. That's all that I have left. So I fussy cut her as well from that paper and then put chipboard under her and cut around that. On the back, I did something similar to the original. Not having any chipboard pieces for this collection, what I've done here, and you can do, is a lot of times I have leftover pieces when I create something, and this is a piece of chipboard from another collection, and I just found a scrap of the paper that I had an image on and traced it with a pencil, cut it out, leaving a little bit of a border, and popped that up on the chipboard, and then added these fun little Graphic45 flat back matte gems in the gold. And I've used the black ribbon as well for my closure. So let's open this up and I'll go over the changes I did with you. So this first page, our first inner part, the original is very similar to mine. As you can see, she did a border here, a strip of paper, and then a fussy cut and a seine. I did similar, but I did not put my border all the way down. I added it as a tuck spot. So mine is glued at the top and at the bottom. And then I embellished a couple of G45 square tags and put ribbons in those and put those in the pocket. Made it a kind of a belly band system here for these. And then this is one of the cut aparts from the cut apart sheet. And I have just cut that down, popped it up on a piece of black chipboard, and then adhered it to my border. And this is one of those borders that I saved, and I added that to the page. On this second portion, I did mine differently. I did a pocket here. I did a corner pocket, add some gold washi, again, popping up one of the 3x4 cut aparts onto a piece of black chipboard, and I just adhered that down here. And then I just did a little 5x7 photo mat. And I also took one of the Graphic 45 note card sets in the black. I've added a fussy cut stamp from the paper, and I used some of my scraps to make a fun card. And I left this open for a sentiment, so if I decide to give this as a gift in the future, I can add a sentiment with a stamp in there. And that just pops into the envelope and right inside that fun little pocket there. Next, we'll move on to this section here. This is the section I used the other fussy cut element from that paper, which was the dragon. And this, I placed this down onto a piece of my black chipboard, the Graphic 45 chipboard, glued it down and let it dry. And then I took scissors and I fussy cut around that, leaving a little bit of that black chipboard showing. As you can see, I'll hold that a little closer. And then I have done a belly band underneath with an extension that comes around that is magnetic, as you can see here. I've used some borders here on the side, and I mindfully cut this paper here so that it was the same from the same side. So the images, when it comes together, as you can see, it has that fun castle scene. Next, we'll open this up, and there's the other portion of my belly band. The other magnet is inside here. So you have a magnet here and a magnet here. Another 5x7 photo mat slides right in there. And again, not having any of the journaling cards for this collection, what I did was I took some scraps. Also, this flap system here is different than the original. I added this to mine with some black cardstock from my stash. So I took 1.5 inch pieces, wide pieces of a scrap, and I put them on the side. And then I took journaling cards from an old collection, cut the images off the bottom, and it was just enough to fit there. So I had this for the journaling. Super fun. Open this up. Okay, in the middle section here, we have a waterfall, which is what was on the original. However, my waterfalls are larger. I did 5 1/4 by 5 3/4, scored at 1/2 inch. So they became 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. And I used that same black cardstock that you'll see throughout from my stash. And I used the exquisite epoch paper with the little shields, and I cut strips to put on the ends of my waterfalls. I also added paper to the inside there of each one of the gussets as not to be able to see those. And then I have a fun little 4x6 or 4x5, I think is what this, 3.5 by 5 photo mat in a pocket underneath. And here's one of those border strips again, and this covers the magnet underneath that you will see will hold. So we have a magnet here. Close our waterfall. We have the other portion of our belly band with a magnet inside, and that hooks to that magnet. And then the third magnet is behind this, which this is a piece of the black paper that I cut down. I cut the cut apart down to that green frame and cut nicely around her dress, around her head, and around a little bit of this. And then I popped that up on a full sheet of black paper. That was, in my case, 5 1/4 inches wide and 7.5 inches plus a half, so 8 inches long. And I made this fit. I cut out what I did not need, leaving this 2-inch border. 1/2 inch went underneath my pocket. And then the other portion of that is up here with a 1/2 inch underneath. And that magnet there also clips to those. And it makes for a really good hold, having that double magnet system in there. So then we have this fun one. Now, the original for this was a kind of cascading pull out. And I did mine a little differently. So I've used one of the Graphic 45 keyholes It's metal and it's heavy, so it holds down everything here, and I don't really need a magnet or anything. So this is just going to slide across this little belly band, again, using those borders. And I'm going to pull this over. And this will come all the way off if you want to take it off. In my case, I did not, so I left it. So mine differs. I did a cascading squares. So they get bigger as they go. The smallest one is on the front here. And these are just put together with 1/2-inch gussets. And it opens this way. And it also opens, as you can see, you can turn it and it will open out all the way. And then this just sits in here. This is another 5x7 photo mat that I made. And I've done a couple things on the different spots. I grab a piece of paper here so you can see. I used some of the fussy cut stamps to make a little tuck spot there. And we have a border strip here just for looks. And then I took one of the large black Graphic 45 tags and added some paper using the Graphic 45 tag die and one of the cut aparts, a piece of border I had left over. I made a pocket, added another cut apart to that. And I also cut this down. I'm going to say, not sure what the original is, but I cut it down so that it's 7 and about 7.5 is what I cut mine down to. And then that just slides in that pocket and it pokes out a little bit at the top. And I liked how that looked. So then you just push this over and flip this on top so that we make sure it catches both. And as you can see, that holds it down. Finally, we have this back one, and this is done exactly like the original, with the exception of what I used to cover it. Again, not having journaling cards, I used the chipboard method and did my gussets the same, but I created a frame using some scraps and covered that, put the cut apart underneath there. And then I made a few envelopes. So I made one, and I didn't care for the way it turned out, but I put it in here anyways, just because I used this paper. So when you turn it this way, it's upside down. If you turn it this way, it's right side up. And I wasn't a fan, but I went ahead and put it in, and it's the same size. And then I made a smaller one using my envelope punch board. I just absolutely love that envelope punch board from Rare Memory Keepers. I made another fun little envelope here with some leftover paper, and that can be stuffed. And then the one that I made, just like the original, I added a strip of paper to the front. One of the cut aparts popped up on some black paper, some of the gold washi, and a border strip. And I used the Sumptuous Floral. And then when you open this, I have my my inserts are a little different as well. So this is done with the black artist. It's called Artisan cardstock. It's a heavier cardstock. And I've used a heavyweight ivory cardstock for my picture mounts. And that makes for this really heavy duty. And this is another cut apart. This one I used a scrap of the paper that I had. These all have these little picture corners cut out. This is a Dress My Craft punch. And then just another one that was popped up on paper. And those all slide in the pocket. And you could put more in here if you wanted. I mean, these pockets will hold quite a bit. And then that just slides right in that pocket like so. And we fold up just like the original. My tie closure is done the exact same way as the original. And everything size-wise, except for my waterfall, that was done like hers, is the same. So that is my hashtag G45 leveled up project for April. I hope that you've enjoyed my tutorial and my walkthrough and my explanation of all the differences. I hope you've enjoyed looking through my fun little album here, and I hope you make one of these. They're super, super fun, and you can do this with any paper collection that you have and even embellish it further than I did. So have a wonderful, happy crafty day and happy paper crafting. Bye-bye.